Now it's time for Lefties losing it, and I think it's high time we checked in on the leader of the free world. Yes, him, POTUS, the man the media told you was cognitively sound and a decent and honest and competent commander-in-chief. You can now add dangerously delusional to President Joe Biden's long list of ailments.
I would have beaten Trump, could have beaten Trump, and I think that Kamala could have beaten Trump, would have beaten Trump.
Say what now? You could have beaten Trump? No amount of fortifying elections could have seen you beat Trump. And as we saw, Kamala didn't come close either. So why is the president saying that now? That's beyond me. Also beyond me is why he'd be uttering a sentence like this. Listen here as he speaks about the California wildfire victims losing their homes before switching to his own happy personal news.
We got this notification yesterday their home is probably burned down. Today, there's a lady still standing, I'm not sure. But the good news is, I'm a great-grandfather as of today.
Their homes are gone, but yay for me, I'm a great-grandfather. Everyone clap. And if you thought that was bad, listen here as the cognitive decline and compulsive lying combine to see the president claim with a straight face that illegal border crossings came down when he became president. This is next level lefty losing at lunacy.
Look, let's get something in mind about the border. When I became president, the numbers came way down, number one. Number two, we had a circumstance where I pushed very hard for a bipartisan agreement to put more people on the border, more Secret Service agents. And guess what? He's on the phone saying, don't do it, make me look bad.
Did he just claim to have put more Secret Service agents on the border? He is cooked, folks. The truth is that the numbers exploded to record highs during his presidency. The record numbers crossed illegally after Trump had overseen a sharp reduction in illegal entries. And let's not forget this statement from Biden after Jimmy Carter's death, where he used the occasion to, you guessed it, attack Donald Trump.
Thank you. President Trump to take from President Carter?
Decency. Everybody deserves a shot. Everybody. Can you imagine Jimmy Carter walking by someone who needs something and just keep walking?
This from a man who doesn't even acknowledge his own granddaughter, Hunter's love child down in Arkansas, who the Bidens to this day refuse to acknowledge, whose mother had to take legal action just to get some financial support for her. This is a man who wants to lecture us about decency. Okay, but whatever you may say about old Joe, at least he's not Kamala. Here is the Veep and wannabe president giving these words of advice to the victims of Californian wildfires.
And so it's critically important that to the extent you can find anything that gives you an ability to be patient in this extremely dangerous and unprecedented crisis, that you do.
There you go. Basically amounts to sit down and calm down as authorities fail you again. Now, this time with the inauguration days away, one must not forget the lengths the leftist media went to cover up President Biden's and Vice President Harris's many deficiencies, though some of them are trying to rewrite history.
One of the things we also do in the year-end correspondence roundtable is dig into what was undercovered or underreported. Jan?
Undercovered, underreported. That would be, to me, Joe Biden's obvious cognitive decline that became undeniable in the televised debate.
At the presidential debate with Donald Trump.
Unquestioned. And, you know, it's starting to emerge now that his advisors kind of managed his limitations. It's been reported in the Wall Street Journal for 4 years, and yet he insisted that he could still run for president. We should have much more forcefully questioned whether he was fit for office for another 4 years, which could have led to a primary for the Democrats. It could have changed the scope of the entire election.
It's starting to emerge now. Please. It was obvious to anyone with eyes and ears that the president could barely function. We reported it here and we were attacked for it over and over again. Let me quote Congressman Byron Donalds, who had this to say for those in the media who have now decided to discuss Biden's mental condition. They decided to discuss it when it no longer mattered. They blamed it on a stutter. They blamed it on Russian disinfo. They blamed it on cheap fakes. They hit him at every opportunity. They scripted every public event. They denied the Her report findings. They sent him on vacation for 570 days. They brazenly lied to you for years. This could be the biggest presidential cover-up in American history, and the media defended it all until they got exposed at the debate. Don't let the media gaslight you. This story existed for years and they avoided it on purpose. Here, I couldn't have said it better myself. Every single word there is true. And one of the very worst in the media, Don Lemon, had this recent meltdown about MAGA. He seems to have forgotten that Donald Trump actually won the election in a landslide. I don't know, he thinks it's all fallen apart for MAGA.
You dumb idiots. Now you're just figuring this out. You're so stupid and you deserve it. You deserve it because you're so dumb. Jim, it's hypocrisy. So go with me here. Yes, I am gloating over your stupidity and how you were taken. I'm cackling in Kamala. You know what they're saying about the anti-immigrant stuff, right? Who's in to say that one of the jobs you might be seeking won't be one of those white jobs? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
It can only be a matter of time before the men in white coats come and take Don away to a nice padded room. Good Lord. And here is Jim Acosta with a human potato, where they both, surprise, surprise, believe the Biden White House should be censoring free speech.
Meta has a lot of business before the U.S. government, and I think that's ultimately what this is all about.
Yeah, and he's complaining about the Biden administration, yelling at them to say, get some of this COVID misinformation off their platforms. I mean, isn't that's sort of what the White House should be doing, right?
Oh dear. Sticking with the media, here is 60 Minutes' Leslie Storm claiming the economy Trump is inheriting is great and trying again and again to get the CEO of JP Morgan Chase to criticise Donald Trump's policies.
He is inheriting a pretty good economy, despite what people feel, all these metrics that you see. But what about advice to him on some of the policies that he's threatening to do that could hurt the economy? For instance, tariffs. Have you talked to him about tariffs? If you could talk to him right now, what would you say?
I have not spoken about tariffs. I think you should read The Art of the Deal. He's a negotiator. He lays out some very tough things, and sometimes it works. We have to worry more about national security, resiliency, diversified supply chains, and we didn't. And also we should worry more about who it hurt. Tariffs are a tool, properly used, that can help get some of those issues resolved.
Oh, she wasn't done yet. She was going to try again.
Your relationship with him? Story, we all read that you called to congratulate him and he wouldn't take the call.
No, that wasn't true.
It wasn't true?
No.
No, it wasn't true, Leslie. You should be used to that. Remember when she claimed to President Trump's face that the Hunter Biden laptop story was Russian disinformation, that there was no evidence of Joe Biden being the recipient of financial benefits from his son's dodgy business dealings? She also claimed there was no evidence that they spied on Donald Trump's campaign. Don't forget this.
The biggest scandal was when they spied on my campaign. They spied on my campaign.
There's no real evidence of that.
Of course there is. It's all over the place. Leslie,
Sir,
they spied on my campaign and they got caught.
Can I say something? This is 60 Minutes, and we can't put on things we can't verify.
You won't put it on because it's bad for Biden.
We can't put on things we can't verify.
Leslie, they spied on my campaign.
Well, we can't verify that.
It's been totally verified.
No.
And now that same journalist is upset that trust in the media is at historic lows. People do not trust these lefty activists masquerading as journalists. I'm shocked.
If you watch the opinion of us, how many people trust the press anymore? I mean, we're way down there with the lawyers.
Yeah.
This is really rough, as you know.
You're way down there with Congress.
Exactly. I mean, we're way down there with Congress, but we're way down there. And I despair. Seriously, I worry greatly, and I think there are other institutions that have been suffering. And you're right not to blame Donald Trump 100%, obviously, started many years before, but we're at a point where if the President of the United States is going to say legacy media is dead, well, I guess Musk said that. Legacy media is dead.
And he wants it dead. He wants other media.
But it is kind of, sort of, hobbling right now. And I don't know how it recovers. I'm very dark about it.
Ooh, she's very dark about it. The kids call that FAFO, F-A-F-O. Google it, Leslie. What you're saying is the consequences of your actions. Here is another grown man telling vulnerable kids that powerful drugs and irreversible surgeries are perfectly safe. Everything you're about to hear is a lie, a dangerous lie. And I've got to add, this clown is a TV host.
Gender-affirming care in minors. First of all, puberty blockers. Puberty blockers are safe, and interestingly, puberty blockers are given to cisgender kids now when little girls or little boys experience precocious puberty, meaning puberty very early, around like 4, 5, 6, 7. They will be given puberty blockers to delay puberty, not prevent it, so that when they're closer to 12, 13, they can get off the puberty blockers and then puberty happens as typical. As far as long-term fertility issues, puberty blockers have no link to long-term fertility issues. And trans young people are not getting gender reassignment surgery. They're not getting top surgery. They're not getting bottom surgery until they are 17, 18, sometimes 16 for top surgery, but they have to have parental consent.
That's Queer Eye's Jonathan Van Ness, another celebrity gender propagandist who can't even stick to his own nonsense. He says kids aren't getting these top surgeries and bottom surgeries except when they're, 16? That's under 18 in my book, with parental consent, as if that makes it okay. And we're talking here about mutilating confused kids, removing healthy breasts at 16, perhaps a penis, and thinking it's justifiable. Goodness me. Now, I've saved the best for last. Have a look at these absolute simpletons, these leftist agitators who think a member of Hamas, an Islamist terror group, would be more LGBT friendly than a typical Trump supporter. Just when you think that the left can't get any more stupid, they go and surprise you.
Between these two choices, who would you say is more likely to be supportive of the LGBTQ community?
Oh, this dude.
Okay, why would you say that?
Because he's a brown person and he's not for Trump.
Do you think the fact that he's part of Hamas would stop him from supporting that community?
Not at all. Probably number one.
Number one?
Palestinians.
Why would you say that?
Because Trump supporters are typically anti-LGBT.
Do you think, so somebody that's a member of Hamas, would they support the LGBTQ community?
I'm not sure.
Number one? Okay, what makes you say that?
They just look kinder.
Kinder? Do you think that, somebody that's, say, a member of Hamas would be supportive of the gay community? Yeah. What do you think?
Maybe him.
Number one?
He looks a little friendlier.